I'm back again to show you all my business. This time, I'm going to share Ravelry, my library on Ravelry. So I've done a couple of stash and tell videos. One was for sock yarn, the other was for sweater quantities. This stash and tell is going to cover my Ravelry patterns that I've purchased on Ravelry. One thing I've noticed over the past few months is my tendency to purchase patterns but not necessarily knit them or make them right away. Sometimes designers will do promotions or sales, and if it's a pattern I really like and I think I will eventually make one day, I will go ahead and buy the pattern without any concrete plans to make it. One of the risks with doing that though is that I fall in love with newer patterns. I forget about the patterns that I've purchased, or I bought the pattern and I don't love it as much as I thought I did when it was first released. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just something that I'm going to try to be more mindful of going forward. Nevertheless, I wanted to share my collection with you. And while I'm going through them, first of all, I'm going to go through them in chronological order of acquisition. So the patterns that I purchased first to the most recent patterns that I've purchased. And I'm also going to keep a running tally of whether I have worked from these patterns or not, to really get an idea of what portion of my pattern library I have not actually used. I think it'll be enlightening. First up is the everyday cardigan. This is a crochet cardigan. I did make this pattern years ago before I got into knitting, but after I got into making garments. So there was a window of time where I was really into making garments. Like I fell in love with the idea of handmade garments, but I didn't quite know how to knit yet. So I made a few crochet sweaters. I remember a couple of pullovers, and this cardigan in particular was the first pattern I purchased on Ravelry. So I was just getting into Ravelry and Knitstagram on social media and making garments, and very quickly after this pattern I did learn to knit, and from there the rest is history. But I do remember making this. I ended up frogging it to make a different cardigan once I learned to knit. Body language pullover, similar story. It is a crochet. It's a crochet pattern. I did make it, and I think I donated that. I don't currently have that sweater anymore. Inline pullover is another crochet pattern I made for my little cousin because, again, I was very excited about making garments. I wanted to practice the different techniques, learn the different constructions, all the things. And then the Weekender is the first sweater I knit and the first knitting pattern I purchased on Ravelry. I did make it once. I don't know that I'll make it again, but I did make it. Grace pillow, I made this as a gift for my cousin. My Little Secret crop by Jessie Made Designs. I did make this. I would like to make it again. The Popo shawl by Sunny Co. I didn't test knit this, but I did purchase and knit this once because I had a single skein of hand-dyed yarn that I had no idea what to do with, and this seemed like the perfect project for that. I don't think I currently own this anymore, but I did knit it. Garrett by Tega Hilliard. I did make this for my friend's baby. The Thea top. I did make this pattern, but I did end up frogging it. I think I might consider making another version of this. It's a really basic stockinette top, pretty universal type of piece. I definitely, with my improved skills, I think I could do a better job at making this pattern. And then I have the Rift. Purchased it in September of 2021. I have made this 3 times. I made it once as a sample for a local yarn store. Then I made a short sleeve version and some wool yarn that I didn't know what else to do with. And I actually wear that quite often. It needs a deep pilling, but that's a successful one. And then I made a long sleeve version, which I'm wearing today actually. So yeah, I've made that 3 times and I think I'll make it again. I don't love how wide the neckline is, but I don't dislike it as much as I did before. So I'm coming around to the wider neckline, but I think the biggest thing that I would change when making this one is, and I'm sorry, I have not been looking at the camera at all. I would definitely want to make it with DK weight yarn instead of the sport weight that it's called for. The gauge really is more suitable for a sport weight yarn. So I don't like the open loose gauge that this fabric creates, but I think it would be much better suited for DK. So if I make it again, I'll definitely use DK weight yarn. And then the infamous Sovereign sweater. I have made the Sovereign sweater by Megan Babin. I purchased it in October 2021, and it was my first cabled knit. It was my first seamed knit sweater. I have a video on this channel all about the process of making that. I have since frogged it, which I also documented on this channel. So yeah, but I did make it. Even though it doesn't exist anymore, I made it. And then there's the Musselburgh. I've made it 3 times, twice as gifts and one for myself. And I will certainly be coming back to this pattern. Merge hat. I knit one for my brother and then I knit one for myself. I don't love this pattern. It's kind of an awkward fit, but I might revisit it and try to make it work for me. The cotton grass jumper. Did make it my first colorwork sweater. Also has a video on this channel. Yeah, good times. Quintessential cardigan. I have made it twice. I will make it again. It is a great project, a seamed staple cardigan that I think everyone could get some type of use out of in their wardrobe. The Schemer Slipover. I did knit this, bought it in May of 2022. I've knit it once. I don't know that I'll knit it again, but I enjoyed the project. Then there's a Friday Slipover V-neck. I did also make this. It also has a video on this channel. And yeah, don't love mohair. That's what I learned from there. Anyway, the Emma top. Okay, I have not knit this pattern. I purchased it and I got intimidated by the half brioche, and I also got intimidated because several other knitters on Ravelry left notes about some issues that they encountered when making the pattern and how some of the instructions were unclear. And I just was not confident enough in my own knitting skills to successfully make this pattern. So I bought it and I chickened out. But I do plan to make it very soon. In fact, I think it'll be my next garment cast on. So you'll hear about it in some form on this channel at some point in the future. But I have not made that yet. And I think this is the first of the patterns that I have not made that we've gone through so far. Then there's the goat herder pullover by Ann Budd. I knit this once as a gift for my husband, a surprise gift. It was the first sweater I ever knit him, and unfortunately it ended in disaster because it did not fit him. The Dryad scarf by Jared Flood. I started this as a gift for my dad, but I felt like it was a bit too ornate for his taste, so I didn't think he would like it. But it was fun to knit. I love knitting cables. I think this counts because I knit from the pattern, right? There's a project tied to it in Ravelry, so I'm giving myself a pass on that one. And then the Citrine Light by Emily Green. Okay, I did knit this. I did not knit this, actually. I did not knit this pattern. I bought it. I think she was doing some type of sale. Yeah, for some reason, I just changed my mind on that. Anyway, and then there's the citrine. Yeah, so Emily was doing a sale because all 4 of these are Emily Green patterns. The citrine I did knit once. I frogged another sweater to make it. Anticline mitts. I have not knit these, and I have some leftover Hudson and West Weld. I might use that yarn to make these mitts. And the grand cardigan. I've been really wanting to make this for a while. I loved it from the moment I first saw it. The yarn was the biggest challenge here because it calls for wool folk luff, and it would have been close to a $400 project with the cost of the yarn. And I couldn't justify it. I still can't. There are dupes of this yarn, so I might explore finding an alternative yarn that is constructed similarly. But yeah, I just one day, maybe I'll set myself a challenge to knit through all of the patterns I purchased. Anyway, have not knit that one. Then there's the Manhattan hat by Tori Yu. I've knit this once. I ended up giving that away. Turns out I don't love the crown construction of this hat. I like a more fitted hat. And if I do knit a hat that has room at the top, I don't think I love this shape. It's kind of a weird, awkward shape for me, and I just don't think it suits my head personally. And the Manhattan hat light has the same silhouette at a different gauge. So I don't, unfortunately, think I will ever knit that. So yeah, but at least I knit one of them before I learned it wasn't for me. Then there's the Kai Fella sweater by Knitwits and Yarns. This is one day when I knit through all of my worsted weight sweater quantities and I have a sizable amount of scraps to work with. I'd like to make this pattern or something similar to it that is more of a patchwork design. I think it'll be a really fun way to use up some scraps, but as you can see, I have not knit this pattern yet. Then there's the Lila Now by Melinda Bernardi. I knit this once. I did frog it, and I don't know that I'll ever knit it again, but it counts because I did knit it. Venetian Tank, I knit this once for a gift for my mom, and she likes it and she wears it often, which warms my heart. So I did knit that one. Salty Sweater, I knit it as a gift for my sister-in-law. I do want to come back to this pattern and knit myself a version one day, but I did knit that one. I knit the Gruggle Cowl by Kate Davies. The Manhattan Mitts by Tori Yu. I did knit these. I'll probably one day make a new version of those as well. But yes, I did knit those. The Northwoods V-neck. I have not knit this. Bought it in February 2023. So over 2 years ago. Have not knit it, but I do plan to knit it this summer as a little mini knit along with my mom actually. So yeah, I'm excited for that. The Big Rib Sweater. So I think Jessie, this was released in February 2023 and she was doing an introductory sale of some sort that I decided to partake in. And unfortunately, I don't like this pattern as much as I thought I would. I just don't like the wide rib. Yeah, it's just, I don't think I'll ever make that one, unfortunately. Then there's the Ward by Sloan Rosenthal. I have made this one. Daybreak Sweater Tee by Taylor Harris. I did make this one. I think I will explore making another version of that one as well. The Aristo, a similar idea for a worsted weight stash busting project. I think it would be really fun to do some type of color block sweater, and I like the intarsia on this one. I just have not gotten around to making it, unfortunately. Seabreeze Sweater Vest. I just bound off my project for this pattern this morning, so I have knit this one finally. After 2 years, I got around to knitting that one. Then there's the Sunkissed Sands Beach Cover-Up by Catherine Wesley. Yes, I made this as a gift for my mom about 2 years ago. Then the Tonight Top, I've talked about the Tonight Top, love the Tonight Top. I've knit it once. I have plans very soon to knit another version of it. Love that pattern, highly recommend. The Rhoda Sleeveless Top by Irene Lynn. Yes, I have made this one. I want to make another version of it. Love that pattern. Beautiful. The Pitch Coat by Emily Green. I did knit this one. I don't love how mine turned out, although I was really, really excited about it at the time I knit it. I do think at one point I want to come back to this pattern. At the time I made it, it was really exciting. A lot of new techniques, probably the most complicated knit that I've ever made. And I was really proud to be able to do it. But I messed up on the pockets in a way that can't really be fixed that easily, if at all. And I have the Cider House socks. I did knit the Cider House socks. Community Cozy. It's not free, but at the time there was some type of discount. I didn't have yarn for it. I didn't have any immediate plans for it. So it's still sitting there. It's a really nice pattern. I think I'll make it one day, but yeah, haven't gotten around to making that. Fairy Building Sweater by Sloan Rosenthal. Yes, I made it. Neela by Natasha Hornby. I have not made this. I fell in love with it when it was first released. And I do believe she was doing an introductory promotion of some sort because, yeah, it was released in March 2024. I bought it in March 2024. And a whole year later, I have still not knit it. Then the Hawthorne. Okay, so we have a block of Alicia Plummer patterns here. She was doing some type of discount. So Hawthorne, a poncho. I have never worn or owned a poncho in my life. I don't know if it's for me. I don't know. Then there is the Woodward by Alicia Plummer. I did not knit this. Then the Garnet Cardi. I don't know if I'll make that one. Scout Hat by the same designer. One day I'll make it. Okay. Skyline Tee by Tori Yu. I made it once. Wardy by Ysolda Teague. I have not knit it, but it's one of those basics that one day I'm going to come around to knitting this for sure. Very wearable piece. Book Club Cardigan. Definitely made it. There's a video about it on my channel. Chardon by Tricot Design MCL. I have not made this, but I think this year I'll get around to making it with my sock knitting challenge. Mousse and Lichen. Mousse and Lichen. Mousse and Lichen. I'm so sorry. I did not make this pattern. I did make this pattern. It was my January socks this year. Winter Essentials. I made this toward the end of last year. It comes with a hat, a neck warmer, and the mitts. I made the neck warmer and the mitts in the fall of 2024. Fantomas. This is by Wally One Knitting. This is the pattern I knit for my husband. There is a video on my channel about it. I definitely would recommend just keep an eye on the lengths of things. Apparently, the sample was for a very, very tall man. The Yun Sweater by Anne Fiscum Sunda. I did make this one. Check, check, check. Mila Hooded Vest. I have not made this one, but I really, really want to make it. I am obsessed with hooded garments in the same way that I am obsessed with shirt collared garments. Little Black Socks by Summer Lee. I did not make these. I have not made these yet, but I will be making them this year. Same with the hibernal socks. Summer Lee has a BOGO setup on her Ravelry shop where if you buy multiple patterns, you get some type of discount. So when I buy her patterns, I try to buy them in multiples. Chesley Took. I have not knit this, but I really want to. One day I will. Regolith Hoodie by Kiyomi Bergen. Really like this pattern. Again, hoodies, hooded garments. I'm all about them. Petal Drop Socks by Florence Miller. I did make these. These were my February socks this year. And it was as a gift, but I do want to make a new version for myself. The Maine Coast Summer Socks. I have not yet made these, but I will get around to it this year. Same with the Hello Sailor Socks by Summer Lee. Haven't knit them yet, but I'm sure I will be before the year ends. We're almost done, guys, I promise. Daily Pullover. I made it. There's a video about it. You will have seen that. You can check that out if you want. But I did make those. I did make that. Traveler by Andrea Mowry. I have not made this yet, but I have plans. Hopefully I can get around to making that in this year, by the end of this year. Men's scuff felted slippers. I did make these. I am actually wearing them on my feet right now. And last but not least is the Lana vest by Irene Lynn, a very recent finished object. I did make these. So on the screen, you should be seeing a tally. How many patterns in my library that I've purchased? How many of them have I actually knit from? Going through these patterns has been interesting, and I have quite a few that I purchased on impulse or just because there was a discount, and I may or may not get around to actually making them, which is a shame because I will never get that money back. But I'm happy to have supported some designers, some independent designers. That's always a good thing. But yeah, I don't want to make a habit of buying patterns and not knitting them. That is like buying yarn and not using it. But with the patterns, I can't make any of that money back. I can't destash a digital pattern. So I definitely want to be more critical when I purchase patterns. Usually what I try to do is buy a pattern right when I'm ready to cast the project on. But lately, that hasn't been the case. Like I said, discounts and the sales are what get me. The discounts are what gets me, and I need to be a bit more wary of those and really ask myself, is this something that I want to make, that I've planned to make, or is it because there's a discount or the pattern just got released? You know, those are questions I should probably ask myself in the future when contemplating purchasing a pattern. But anyway, that's all I have to share in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.